What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Now, in this video today, I just want to talk about the recent news from Netflix in that they have announced a new deal that will look to bring in more British talent as part of their commitment for diversity. Now, in doing that, they'll be working with filmmaker and director Rapman, whose film Blue Story, who I'm sure a lot of you have heard of, made headline news due to the violence that kicked off across the country during the screenings. And that, in a nutshell, is my main concern with the announcement of the deal. And to be fair, the state of Black British film industry as a whole. Now, for years, and I've been complaining about this, is that there's been a real dearth of black films and TV shows that have been produced. And while this news sounds like good news, I have a feeling that the same old tired-ass storylines will be produced that just glamorizes violence, gang culture, roadman lifestyle, and all the negative depictions that let a white person produce such content about black people. All hell would break loose. Because at that point, we'll then say, well, not all black people do this, and not all black people like this, and that's racist. And so my question is, why do we tolerate these things when they're produced by our own people? I always hear the complaints about, well, it's because producers or studios that won't pick up any other type of content unless it depicts these types of stereotypes. But I have to question, with the age of social media and the direct-to-consumer experience, is that really the truth? Because we're in the age where you can produce content for cheap and put it out on platforms like this here on YouTube. And I've seen a few on here. However, the same stuff gets generated, the same tired ass storylines regarding roadman, lifestyle, gang stories, all that depicts the negative stereotypes. And there's a reason for it. It's because there's a huge market for it, and that lies the problem. Because the people who mostly enjoy, appreciate, and therefore want more of this type of content is, you've guessed it, it's us. We have allowed ourselves to become one dimensional and pigeonholed. The other day, I was actually thinking about the type of black films and TV shows that I have seen personally, and even ones that have just been made over the last 30 years. And you can break down all these films into four basic categories. You've got number one, the roadman slash hood gangster film, like Kidulthood, Blue Story. You've got number two, the struggle slash overcoming films, which typically about real life events, things about slavery, racial injustice, like Babylon back in the day, Mangrove. You've got the typical rom-coms that get produced, which center around, again, struggle when it comes to relationships and overcoming again. And then lastly, you have the typical comedians. So you've got the comedy stories. These are the only type of films that you predominantly see black people are casted in or they produce. I mean, the only time when I see black people in different types of films is usually as a lone actor in a typically white or mixed cast. Or lastly, and this is the key here, when we complain to white people about where's our own version of franchises that are now doing well, in which we all know damn well if that black people would never care to produce and market these films. I'm talking about shows out of the box like Serenity, Game of Thrones is a classic example, and things of that ilk. So when I saw this headline, my immediate reaction, which it shouldn't have been, but it was actually disappointment because I'm fearing more of the same nonsense that we've been exposed to, which is something which I don't want. Now I'm hope and pray that I am wrong. And maybe it could be the case that with the opportunity and resources that Netflix will ultimately provide, we will see different types of content. Maybe they'll bring more people in because some people specialize in different types of content. I get all that. But it is telling how much that we limit ourselves. And then we wonder why we are seen in certain lights and why other groups of people are seen in other lights that they are seen in. I mean, for example, when you look at the content that are produced by white people, you see them in all aspects and all genres: horror movies, action, comedy, sci-fi, adventure. They aren't afraid to depict themselves in different lights and try different things, which then explains why people are accustomed to be honest with you, seeing white people as being versatile in ways which people never believed that black people can be. And that's why when you see, because I see a lot of this, particularly nowadays, a lot of snide comments from other groups, when you see on the odd occasion black actors in roles that goes against the norm, because we've been stereotyped and pigeonholed, a lot of it's to do with us regarding things that we can and can't do, because they don't see us as being able to fit certain roles, because they don't see us as being versatile as other groups are. And this is the thing, we have allowed ourselves to be pigeonholed into these situations because, in truth, a lot of times I believe this, we lack the imagination or even sometimes the courage to try and provide something different, even though we complain about it all the time. But to be honest, and this is someone who does YouTube, and people who do YouTube or other content would also sympathize with this. And this is when you look at analytics and you look at the market, because if something does well, it sells well, or gets the most engagement from your audience, then you'll be silly not to do or not keep producing that type of content. And ultimately, when we're trying to, pay the bills, put food on the table, you are kind of, I won't use the word a slave, but you are kind of determined by what the market wants or what it produces. And this, unfortunately, is a damning indictment of us as a group of people than sometimes the people who actually produce the content. Because ultimately, if we don't watch this content, then guess what? It wouldn't sell. But because we do watch it, we do request it, we do ask for this type of content, this is where the content gets produced. Because people aren't silly. We look at numbers, we look at who watches it, especially nowadays with TV and free choice. We have analytics and data that determine what groups, what age range, what gender, what groups watch certain things at certain times. Therefore, people produce content to suit certain audiences. So a lot of times when I say these things, truth be told, it's more a damning indictment on us as a people than the people who produce this content. But that's all I had for today. That's what I wanted to share. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Until next time, I'm out.